Chapter 1 Waves of Destiny. The sun hung low in the sky, casting its final golden rays over the endless ocean. The beach was bathed in warm hues of orange and pink as the waves gently lapped against the shore. Mira stood at the water's edge, her toes sinking into the cool sand, but her mind was far from peaceful. She had come to this secluded beach for a reason, one that weighed heavily on her heart. This beach held special meaning for her. It was here, years ago, where she and her closest Pokemon companion, an Umbreon named Eclipse, had spent countless evenings training, playing, and watching the sun dip below the horizon. But one day, in the midst of a terrible storm, Eclipse had vanished. Mira had searched for weeks, calling out to the ocean, desperate to find her lost friend, but Eclipse never returned. Eventually, Mira had given up hope, but she had never truly healed. Now, after hearing rumors of a Gardevoir, who appeared at sunset on a remote beach, helping those burdened by grief and loss, Mira had returned to the place where it all began. She didn't know if the rumors were true, but she had nothing left to lose. As the sun continued to sink lower, casting longer shadows across the beach, a soft breeze swept through the air, and Mira felt something shift around her. The sound of the waves changed, their rhythm slowing, as if the ocean itself was holding its breath. Then, out of the corner of her eye, she saw her. Gardevoir. She appeared as if she had always been part of the scenery. Her elegant form glowing softly against the backdrop of the setting sun, her gown seemed to blend with the colors of the sky, and her eyes, deep and knowing, were fixed on Mira. Mira's breath caught in her throat. The Gardevoir was real. Gardevoir approached without a word, her movements graceful, her presence calm and powerful. When she finally stood before Mira, her voice echoed in Mira's mind, soft yet filled with understanding. "You carry a great burden in your heart," Gardevoir said, her eyes filled with compassion. "Tell me, why have you come to this place?" Mira's throat tightened as the memories flooded back. She hadn't spoken of Eclipse in a long time, not since she had given up hope of ever finding him. But now, standing in the presence of Gardevoir, the pain she had buried for so long rose to the surface. "I lost someone important to me here," Mira whispered, her voice trembling. "My Umbreon, Eclipse. He disappeared in a storm, and I never saw him again. I've searched and searched, but I don't know if he's still out there. I just want to know if he's okay." Gardevoir's gaze softened. The ocean holds many memories, just as the heart does. But to find what you seek, you must be willing to face the truth. Mira's heart pounded in her chest. What truth? Gardevoir extended her hand, and as she did, the air around them began to shimmer. The waves stilled, and the world seemed to fall silent. Mira felt the pull of something powerful, something deeper than the physical world, a force that connected her to Eclipse, to the ocean, and to the pain she had carried for so long. "Come," Gardevoir said. "Let us search together." Chapter 2 The Setting Sun. Gardevoir led Mira along the shoreline, the two of them walking in silence as the sky deepened into shades of purple and red. The sea was calm, almost unnaturally so, and the beach stretched endlessly before them. Mira could feel the energy in the air, something magical, something ancient. As they walked, Gardevoir began to hum a soft melody, a song that seemed to blend with the sound of the waves. The tune was soothing, but there was something more to it, something that resonated deep within Mira's soul. The song seemed to stir memories, bringing back flashes of her time with Eclipse, the joy they had shared, and the bond they had forged. But with the memories came the pain, the ache of loss, the guilt of not being able to protect him. Gardevoir stopped suddenly, turning to face Mira. What you seek is not in the past, but in the present. Eclipse's memory lives within you, but you must let go of the pain if you are to see clearly. Mira's eyes filled with tears. I don't know how, she admitted, her voice barely a whisper. I've tried, but it still hurts so much. I feel like I failed him. Gardevoir's gaze was steady, but her expression was filled with compassion. The heart cannot heal if it clings to regret. The bond you shared with the Eclipse was never broken, even when he disappeared. It lives on in you, in him, and in the world around you. Let me show you. Gardevoir raised her arms, and the melody she had been humming grew louder, filling the air with its haunting beauty. The ocean responded, its surface glowing faintly as if illuminated by an unseen light. Mira watched in awe as the water rippled and shimmered, and then, from the depths, a figure began to emerge. It was Eclipse. Mira gasped, her heart leaping in her chest as the image of her lost Umbreon appeared in the water, his sleek, dark fur glowing softly in the light. His eyes, bright and full of life, met hers, and for a moment, it was as if he was standing right in front of her. Eclipse? Mira whispered, reaching out a trembling hand. But as quickly as he had appeared, the image of Eclipse began to fade, dissolving into the water like mist. Mira felt a pang of sadness, but before she could speak, Gardevoir stepped closer, her voice gentle. The ocean remembers, Gardevoir said. Eclipse's spirit is not lost, but he is no longer bound to this world in the way you expect. His memory lives on, in the ocean, in the sunset, and in your heart. He is at peace. Mira felt tears spill down her cheeks, but this time, they were not just tears of grief. They were tears of release. She had been holding on to the pain for so long, afraid to let go, afraid that doing so would mean forgetting Eclipse. But now, standing on the beach where they had shared so many memories, she realized that Eclipse would always be a part of her. I think I understand, Mira said, her voice soft but steady. He's not gone. Not really. He's with me. In a different way. Gardevoir nodded. Yes. And now that you have accepted this truth, you can find peace. Eclipse would want you to continue your journey, to live fully, just as he did. Mira closed her eyes, feeling the weight of her grief begin to lift. The setting sun cast its final rays across the water, and for the first time in years, Mira felt a sense of calm, a sense of closure. Chapter 3. Reunion by the Sea. The sun had nearly set, leaving the sky painted in deep purples and soft pinks as the stars began to peek through the twilight. Mira and Gardevoir stood together on the beach, the waves lapping gently at their feet. Mira felt different now, lighter, freer. The pain that had once consumed her was still there, but it no longer held her captive. She had accepted that Eclipse was gone, but his memory, his spirit, would always be with her. Gardevoir's voice broke the silence. You have faced your grief, and now you are free to move forward. But remember, the bond you shared with Eclipse will never fade. It is eternal, as long as you carry it in your heart. Mira nodded, wiping away the last of her tears. Thank you, she said, her voice filled with gratitude. I didn't think I could ever let go of the pain, but now I feel like I can finally move on. Gardevoir smiled, her form glowing softly in the twilight. The ocean is a place of endings and beginnings, just as life is. You have reached the end of one journey, but another awaits you. As the last light of the sun disappeared beyond the horizon, Mira felt a sense of peace she hadn't known in years. She looked out at the ocean, the place where she had lost so much, and realized that it was also the place where she had found healing. Eclipse was at peace, and now, so was she. Mira turned to Gardevoir, who was beginning to fade into the evening mist, her work here done. But before she disappeared completely, Gardevoir spoke one final time. Remember, the heart is stronger than any storm, and love never fades, even when the sun sets. With that, Gardevoir vanished, leaving Mira standing alone on the beach. But for the first time, she didn't feel alone. The waves whispered softly at her feet, and as Mira gazed out at the ocean, she smiled. The sun would rise again tomorrow, and with it, a new beginning, and she would be ready for it.